And that was the major turning point for me in coming out of the shadows. So along about 2000-ish, 99, I think it was 99 because we hadn't had Y2K yet. Leo Johnson of Cross Country took me on the road with them. We went down through Texas and done some stuff. And I toured with Cross Country, the band, which was one of my favorite Christian country bands. They were one of the bigger bands of that time. And I toured with them, did that whole thing. And then after that, a Southern Gospel quartet called Master's Voice ended up doing some touring with Master's Voice, and we toured all over and had a good time with them as well. Then I moved to Nashville, had me an office right there on Music Row, and was doing my own thing, you know, with the big CCN, still playing music. I was helping Mike Manuel at the time with his social media and his websites and that kind of thing. And I'd done a few of his Facebook Live shows with him. And Robbie Lynn with Sunday's Kind of Country, we were teamed up. He had Sunday's Kind of Country, I had the big CCN. We would get on Facebook Lives and we would talk about music and what made it country, what made it Christian country. And we were really opinionated about it. And we made a lot of waves in the industry, you know. So people started saying, "You got to see these two fools." You know, they get on Facebook Live and they talk about what is and what ain't country, and what is and what ain't Christian country, and what's country gospel and what's Southern gospel and what's the difference. They think they know it all, you know. And that we didn't know that that's the way they were talking about us, but that's the way a lot of people were talking about us. But we just knew what we were talking about, so we were trying to create some standards within that part of the industry. And I had never heard of Christian Davis, didn't know who he was, but Christian Davis had started playing, he had done an album and brought it over to the Christian country genre, and we started looking him up because he was good. And I learned that Christian Davis had played with Dailey and Vincent for like 5 or 6 years, and I was like, why in the world is he moving over into Christian country when he's already at the top of the ladder doing what he's doing, you know? But anyway, that's what he was doing. And Christian Davis had heard about us, you know, because in Christian country, we had, you know, radio shows and TV shows that everybody wanted to be on. So he had heard about us, and somebody told him, "You got to watch this guy, this crazy fool. He thinks he knows it all." So one night we were on doing a live, and his buddy called and said, hey, you got to log on because they're on there now. They're talking now. He was on his way to Texas to do a concert. They pulled over, him and Sophia, and they pulled it up. And sure enough, there me and Robbie were telling everybody what Christian country was, what it wasn't, what it had to be, you know. And the more they listened to it, they were like, well, he's right. He's right. What he's saying is the truth, you know. So the more they heard, the more they liked. Well, like I said, I still didn't know who Christian Davis was. Didn't really know a whole lot about Dailey and Vincent at that time. So they had put forth an effort to get in touch with me. And they wanted me to come. Christian was fixing to do a tribute to Ralph Stanley. There was a tribute to Ralph Stanley show that was happening, and Christian wanted to know if I would play fiddle for him. Like I said, I didn't know who Christian Davis was. But I talked to him. I said, I know 5 fiddle players who are actually fiddle players, you know, a lot better than me that I could get you. He said, I want you. He said, I want you. And I turned him down. So I turned him down. And this was like a week before the date. I turned him down. Well, the next day he called again. I turned him down again. I turned him down 3 times. Chance of a lifetime. Playing on the Grand Ole Opry stage. It wasn't a Grand Ole Opry show, but it was on the Grand Ole Opry stage, tribute to Ralph Stanley. I wanted to do it bad, but I had other circumstances that was causing me not to do it that other people didn't know about. So anyway, the day of the show, my circumstances were different than I had thought. So Christian called and said, man, I really wish you were over here. I mean, they were there. They were at the Opry. Said, I'd really like for you to reconsider and come on up. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll do it. So I went unrehearsed, we went and I played on the Grand Ole Opry stage for the tribute to Ralph Stanley show with Christian Davis. And I played, and that was the major turning point for me in coming out of the shadows. Now, this wasn't but less than 3 years ago, but it was my biggest turning point of coming out of the shadows.